Hello, I'm sitting here in my office in the Rayburn House office building in Washington, and I appreciate the fact that you look at my website on occasion, I hope, or maybe you're coming to the website for the first time. And we try to occasionally update the website with my views on what's going on in Washington or things that I've been working on. Last week I spoke on the floor of the House I think 3 different times. I spoke once in support of a resolution dealing with the importance of fathers in the lives of children, and that all of these speeches that I give on the floor are put on the website for more, if you want to have more detail about specifically what I said. The reason that I spoke on that is because I spent 7.5 years as judge of the criminal court in Knox County, and I saw that well over 90% of the defendants in felony criminal cases came from father-absent households. And I became so concerned about that because, as I mentioned in my speech, I read thousands of reports. I went through over 10,000 cases in those years. And every day I would read many times, defendant's father left home to get a pack of cigarettes and never came back. Defendant's father left home when defendant was 2 and never returned. And I think we can't emphasize enough the importance of marriage, the importance of fathers in the lives especially of young boys, although it's important to girls too, because I've also read that many prostitutes or many women who get in serious trouble have had bad or negative relationships with their fathers. And so we need to get that message out, particularly to young men, that their role in raising a child is extremely important, and far too many young men leave their children behind in this day and age. In fact, one of the other members of Congress who spoke said that 1/3 of the children in this country today are living in homes apart from their biological fathers, and that's a very alarming statistic. I also spoke in regard to a $30 billion small business loan program, and I voted against that because what I've been told and what I've read all over the country, and it's certainly true in East Tennessee, the banks have plenty of money to loan. But we had President Bush and his Secretary of the Treasury saying this, and President Obama and his Secretary of the Treasury. All 4 of those top officials have been saying to the banks, loan, 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 try to get more loans to small businesses. And the banks have plenty of money to loan, but then the examiners have been on the local level saying no, no, no. And unless these examiners start approving some loans that ordinarily the banks would have been very happy to get, if they don't become a little more flexible, then the economy is going to continue, small business is going to continue to have trouble regardless of how much money the federal government might throw at it. And it certainly didn't make any sense to me for the federal government to go out here and borrow $30 billion that we don't have when the banks already have plenty of money to loan. And then thirdly, I spoke on a provision or a proposal to try to ease the red tape and the regulations about disposing of federal property. The federal government has identified, the Office of Management and Budget and the different agencies have identified some 21,000 properties, some of it's real property, some of it's buildings and offices and so forth, that they don't need and would like to dispose of them. In many cases, it's the federal government continuing to maintain at great expense office buildings that are empty, or real property that's not beautiful, that's inaccessible, that's difficult to manage. And they've identified 21,000 pieces of property they would like to get rid of, and worth at least conservatively $18 billion that we really need, and yet we can't dispose of it at this time. And efforts to change the law have run into resistance from environmental groups primarily, and so it's ridiculous that we're just wasting this kind of money at the federal level. Today I just finished speaking to the News Sentinel at great length about the issue of immigration. I've had many people who have come to me wanting me to support the efforts of Arizona, and certainly I have supported tough laws in regard to immigration, and then we'll continue to do so. But I told the News Sentinel the problem is not the laws. There are plenty of laws on the books already making immigration illegal to a very large extent. But the problem is that we're not enforcing the laws against illegal immigration nearly to the extent necessary. There is a legal way to do things, there's a right way to do things, and a wrong way to do things. And the United States is by far the most generous country in the history of the world. But today, unfortunately, over 3 billion people are having to get by on $2 or less a day. They're hoping they're going to get one good meal today and probably aren't. And many people in our country, including me, need to lose weight. But while we sympathize with people who are living under harsh conditions in other countries, we can't take in 3 billion people in a relatively short time, which is what would happen if we simply opened up our borders. And as I told the News Sentinel, our schools, our jails, our sewers, our roads, our hospitals, our entire infrastructure just could not support a rapid influx of hundreds of millions or even 2 or 3 billion people that would come here, within the next few months if we allowed them to do so. So we've got to have tougher enforcement of our immigration laws, so we have some sort of legal, orderly system of immigration in this country. In our office, we've helped many people. A few thousand people probably work out immigration problems, but that's to do it the legal way and not the illegal way. And always we hope to hear from you on concerns that you have or problems that we can assist with as we continue to represent the 2nd District in Washington.